Hello and welcome to the Formula WINOL podcast. As per always, I'm joined by my two brilliant co-hosts. Tom looks like he's going to murder me, and Ed, who is also trying to one-up Tom, but he's kind of just terrifying me. How are you doing today, boys?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. It's a sunny day.
Are you going to cut me off again and not ask how I'm doing like last time?
No, how are you doing, Ed?
I'm doing good. I'm sat here enjoying my life.
So the plan was that this would be so normally we wouldn't record on Fridays during FP because normally I work at Halfords, but it is my birthday tomorrow, so I booked office holiday. So this is the birthday podcast. I'm old. Let's put it that way.
20.
I'm 20 tomorrow. Yeah,
20.
I've got a Zimmer frame in the bag.
A Zimmer frame in the bag.
And nobody. Well, I'll get hurt because I've probably got arthritis.
Fall down the stairs.
Yeah, I fall and I can't get up.
I've
Can't
Need
get
a
up.
stair lift.
The original idea that I had on the way here was that we would do a shot of Malibu every time Mazepin span, and we'd do a Jägermeister shot for every single time that there was a team radio. But, well, team radio would have been quite a lot. We
would have been very bad.
At 3 in the afternoon. But I put the bottles away now since we took 10 minutes chatting absolute nonsense.
Should we bring it on to the
intro? Every
intro?
episode, and also, where's the shot glasses?
We were just going to do it from the bottles.
Oh, that sounds hygienic.
You sound hygienic.
Let's bring it on to actual F1 /news.
Yeah, so Grosjean's test with Mercedes is the big news of the week. I mean, we all know it's going to happen eventually. It was going to be at Paul Ricard. That makes sense because it's a test track, and B, it's French Grand Prix. Yeah. And then there's a third point that someone made, which is that if he were to have a crash, it wouldn't. There's so much runoff.
There's a lot of Not that I think obviously because he only left last year. So
no, of course he's not going, and he's been in IndyCar. So
exactly.
It's not like after the crash he just never drove again, and now he's going to get into an F1 car.
So
tell you what,
this year?
I'm excited for this.
So anyway,
what?
I said I was excited.
It definitely wasn't ironic when he said
Not
it.
at all.
So basically, there's been some news in the week that is Red Bull have signed more staff over from Mercedes because obviously Red Bull they're going to be making their own engine and Honda are leaving. So they're taking some of Mercedes' know-how, which is a really big thing. So it could mean that it shows that Red Bull are very invested in it, and that if you're putting all of that effort into making a really quick engine, they're going to be an F1 for, I reckon, at least the next 10 years.
The interesting thing to me that I saw someone put on Twitter yesterday when it was announced that another 5 had left Mercedes to go to Red Bull was someone saying, they'll bring Mercedes to Verstappen, and then Verstappen will just leave and go to Mercedes.
It could happen. I
don't think Lewis is leaving this year now, though, is he? I think Lewis
he's pretty much bolted on. He said that he's going to stay, but he, to be fair, he hasn't said which team, but I don't see why I'd want to move.
Do you think Mercedes would ever bring in a German driver again and try and do that whole... Because when they came into the sport, they had 2 German drivers. I
think Verline was their only chance of that. And
if you brought in Verline and Hulkenberg, you'd have a pretty elite lineup.
True, but I don't think...
That's a midfield lineup. It's elite for a midfield team.
It is, but I don't think Hulkenberg's... I think if Verline, if he stayed in F1, could have been championship material or not.
I wanted him to get the Mercedes team.
So did I.
My guy.
Yeah, I think he is. Well, it's hard to tell because he wasn't really in a
wearing his Albon hat.
Shut up, it's a Red Bull hat.
With an Albon logo and number 23 on the front.
Rip the number off this hat. I have to.
Are we 3 minutes into the podcast and we're already starting with the...
Well, he chose to wear it. He said outright...
Did you bring the unicorn hat?
I forgot the unicorn hat.
No!
We're going to need to bring it for next
Oh,
for
that's
next
why I
time.
bought this. I thought we were wearing meme hat.
I'll bring my Lando Norris hat.
What hat was he going to wear?
Lando Norris hat.
Do you have a Lando hat?
Yeah, I do.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
Why haven't you told me this before now?
Because, I bought
wouldn't
it
have
at
been friends with
Silverstone. I was at Silverstone and I wanted to buy a Ricardo hat and they didn't have one. And,
Can't go get a Norris one.
I was just like, I want a McLaren hat because I quite like McLaren.
I'd rather you have a Lewis Hamilton hat.
I can sell it and buy it.
I've got a 2011 Jensen Button hat. It's very nice.
You also have a Lewis Hamilton
That's pretty
hat.
cool.
Oh my god, shut up.
Anyway.
There's also this
Let's transition out of that, shall we?
FIA Electric GT. I haven't heard anything about this.
No, so it hasn't it hasn't made the news too much, but it's basically an all-electric series. I think they're going to start it mostly in Europe and then obviously expand it out. I think they're trying to make it into a, how there's certain things that are an FIA World Championship rather than just an FIA sanctioned event. So they do have big plans for it. And then also with the they're going to be doing a similar thing with the touring car. So I think they've had something this season with, instead of WTCR, or they've got the WTCR, but as well as that, they've got this kind of electric series, but it's got a bit of a weird name, and it's still kind of in its infancy. But next season they're going to be doing a EWTCR, which is a fully fledged FIA event. But I don't know whether it's going to be a world champion. That is a world championship, but that's still pretty cool. So I mean, yeah, it's a shame that we're moving on to this electric stuff now, like fully. Because I feel like you kind
WRC is hybrid, BTCC is hybrid as of next year, I believe, isn't it? 2022, BTCC hybrid.
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah, WRC is moving towards hybrid next year. Ford have started testing their hybrid car out. That people think do you know the new Ford Puma, the massive one?
Yes.
People think Ford are going to use one of those for the WRC.
I thought you were going to say BTCC. I was going to say, how the hell would that work?
No, Ford don't have a manufacturer's entry into BTCC.
No.
But it'd be interesting if they did.
It would be cool.
They supply Motorbase.
They supply so many teams.
Yeah,
now.
they do.
But yeah, I guess we can move on to preview the race weekend, the Formula 1. There is a lot on this weekend, but we'll start with Formula 1 since we're a Formula 1 podcast. Mercedes have been dominant every year. Like, it's ridiculous. Back to 2016, and that was only because both of them crashed.
It was gifted a win for Verstappen.
It was a gifted win, yeah.
And it's Verstappen that is challenging them now again.
Yeah. Red Bull bottled Ricciardo's strategy that day, so Verstappen would win, by the way, in case anyone didn't know that.
In case anyone cares. But
still.
But yeah, I mean, Red Bull have obviously got the weekends that came last weekend that I think we touched on last podcast. So it'll be interesting to see whether they have any sort of effect.
They knew that they knew last weekend was going to be painful.
Yeah.
They've brought a lot of upgrades this weekend. McLaren have brought even more upgrades.
They have, yeah, because Norris is that quick. I mean, the time that we've recorded this is we've already had FP1 and
FP2. FP2 wasn't great for either of them.
No.
But I think they're doing a lot. I think McLaren know where their pace is, and they spend a lot more time doing data.
Just working on other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think FP2, it's always sat with me for the last 3 years. I think it was like Crofty said it back in 2018 or something, that FP2 is always the one to watch because it's always at the same time as qualifying. Same time of the day, usually same temperature, all that and the other. So it's kind of the most meaningful one.
Yeah.
But this year, practice sessions, they're not really being used for that.
No. So that doesn't really apply too much anymore.
Not really. And there's a lot of track changes this year at Barcelona as well. Yeah. Hopefully make it a lot more interesting because it's probably the most boring track on the calendar.
Yeah. Just because
did they change the chicane at all, Ed?
I don't think so.
Because me and Tom were watching.
I swear they have.
And it looks like it flows more.
I didn't see it. Well,
from the camera angle they were playing
because it looked more straight. It didn't look like it went.
Because the other thing as well is they had. It looked like where the 3 curbs were on the inside of the right-hander of the chicane. That it looked like it had been like paved over kind of thing. Like the 3 curbs where the chain.
But I know obviously they changed the hairpin.
Yeah, turn Tennyson changed,
which is annoying because it's
that's just a MotoGP track, isn't it? That's
the hairpin is still there. That's the thing. You can see it on the hairpin is still there.
They should just race at Valencia instead of racing.
Go to Ricardo Tormo, please.
They actually should.
Or Jerez, even Jerez. I don't care.
Jerez would be a good race.
Jerez would be. It's like
it is a test.
I don't really think it's big enough. After watching the MotoGP, that I don't really think it's big enough in terms of like the track width. But yeah, and then obviously we've got it's going to be possibly the most represented. I can't speak. Representative.
We should see a really good
yeah.
analysis. You know when you play like the F1 game and you've got like the R&D charts and you've got the bar lengths.
Like we're almost going to see that.
Yeah, we'll actually be able to see what the true form is rather than it being a different track.
And I think Red Bull, to really put a stamp on this championship, they have to have a strong
I think Red Bull has to have a 1-3 finish.
Yeah.
They've got to have both cars on the podium this weekend. I think it's fully... I honestly do think that Bottas could end up somewhere like 5th this weekend.
I reckon he could do, because I think Norris will be very quick with the new upgrades.
Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Norris.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see the high rake versus low rake, what goes better around this track.
You'd imagine it would be... Is it? I can't even remember which way around it is. Which one's Mercedes?
So Mercedes is low rate.
They were low rate,
along with Aston Martin, Alpine. Alpine are kind of in the middle.
Be low rate,
I'm pretty sure.
When you remember back to last, do you remember the start of 2020 when we did testing and Racing Point were like almost on the same level as Red Bull around there.
They were, yeah.
I think this has got to be a low rate track.
Yeah, in that case, then Red Bull could be
in trouble.
They could be in big trouble.
But there's plenty of tracks for them to make it up at. I think street tracks this year is very
cool. Absolutely.
Baku will be a good one.
Yeah.
And we've got so many street circuits in the calendar now that even if the real tracks, I wouldn't really count the Spanish Grand Prix as a real track. I mean like the proper like Imolas and your Turkeys. Purpose built. I mean, yeah, Barcelona is a purpose built one.
It's not very
it
good.
Never really delivers.
It feels like a street
purposely
track.
built wrong.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That is, great.
I've done my research.
Okay.
I haven't found anything about the chicane. The new Turn 10 isn't even the old MotoGP layout.
Oh, it isn't?
It cut through where the whole massive red sticker thing was.
Oh, really?
So it's only
it cuts
corner
off really
is only
early.
Slightly just wider than the hairpin was.
Oh, right.
So it's, I can't find anything about the chicane though.
It's basically just to make it flow better, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is, a little bit weird, but
I think it's going to go off.
Is it?
It's probably going to be really
sorry
loud.
for audio listeners.
Because everyone's focusing on turn 10.
No one's really talked about the chicane,
and it's just like turn 10, turn 10.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how McLaren do this weekend with the why have I said high diffuser? Just diffuser.
High rake.
I don't even know if they do have a high rake, but
Ricardo hasn't got the best record
plus.
around Spain.
No, which I think it could be another painful weekend.
He's got like I think it was like 12th and 11th for his last two finishes there with Renault.
Right, so it's not great.
Well, when you consider how much further ahead the McLaren car is to Renault, realistically,
I think if he can just get points this weekend.
I think if he can get points,
I
still think, he's struggling to settle into that new team.
Yeah,
but I think that's because this is his first time.
But we found that when he was in the Renault.
But this is his first time going into a team where the team isn't built around him.
Yeah,
because at Toro Rosso he was the big name. Who was his teammate first year at Toro Rosso? Was it Buemi?
I can't
No,
remember.
it's Vern. When Ricardo started in F1, who was his first teammate at Toro Rosso?
2013 would have been.
Should I have a look? I'll have a look.
It would have been Vern.
Yeah, so the team was
Alguersuari and Buemi.
They knew that Ricardo out of Vern, Alguersuari, Buemi, and Ricardo, they knew Ricardo was the one who was going to go to achieve things in F1. And obviously Buemi's gone off into Formula E and he's done great stuff, but they knew Ricardo was their future really. So he's pretty much always had a team around him, and now on McLaren it's much more neutral. I mean, you could probably argue it's more towards Norris, but I think it's more neutral.
British driver, British team, so...
Yeah, but McLaren don't normally operate like that.
No,
They haven't done. The last time they would have done it was when they were Alonso FC. And that was because Van Dorn was the other driver.
Yeah.
But even when Button was there, they've never really sided with one more than the other. Trying to think back now.
They haven't really, have they? They haven't
Mika
really
and David, they were in the middle.
Yeah.
Raikkonen and Montoya.
It's all very balanced, yeah.
Yeah, very balanced.
But yeah, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention was that we are seeing... Last weekend we saw the three hardest compounds being brought to the track. We're seeing the same thing.
Oh, really?
This weekend, yeah.
I didn't even hear about
that. So it could play into Alpine's hands because they looked really, really strong last weekend with that tyre set.
Yeah, especially Alonso towards the end when he got into
when he's on the hard tyres.
Yeah.
He looked really strong. But then I don't know whether the teams are even going to be using the hard tyres in the race. So we'll have to see. The other thing I wanted to say as well was qualifying, as always, around Spain. It will be very, very important because 22 of the last 30 races have been won from pole.
That's crazy. Is that Spanish races, I'm assuming, the 30 races?
I think that is just the circuit. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, like, at this circuit.
Yeah.
I was going to say, to be fair, that's probably the correct stat for the last 30 races in general as well, though, to be fair. I think that... I don't know. That title battle is so tight that I think, it could go either way.
Yeah.
What's the points difference at the moment?
It's a bit bigger now because...
Like 8 or 9, something like that.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Because it was 1 point, and then he got 7, so it'll be 8. It's 8 points.
If we go F1.
And then Norris is like 30 points behind that, and Bottas is 35 points.
Bottas is a long way off. I realised.
But I assume he's just behind Norris, isn't he? He's about 5 points behind Norris.
If I go...
I've quickly done my chicane research. I watched the fastest lap from Bottas and F1, and it doesn't look any different.
Okay, it must have just been the angle, or me and Tom.
Mine
and Tom's wishful thinking.
Slightly widened or something, but it didn't.
It looks like it goes more straight.
Yeah,
you know how it goes like.
Yeah.
You know how when you go up to the run up to it, it's like an angle.
Yeah.
It looks more straight.
Yeah, it looks. They might have widened it slightly, but I think that there was nothing major.
So it's a 8-point gap. So Hamilton is on 69 points. Verstappen is on 61. Nice. Then we've got Norris third. Yeah, so 37. Bottas is only on 32. So he's already. How
many is Norris on? Sorry.
37.
Oh, so I was right. 5 points.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy! And what? He's 32 points behind Hamilton.
I don't know.
Yeah, 69, 35 to 69. Wait, so sorry.
Yeah, 32. Yeah, correct.
No, 34. Sorry. but I was correct in it being about 30. I'm just surprised I got that right.
Yeah. Good memory.
Do you remember? Have you seen that interview recently that Lando did, where they asked him about like his car number?
No.
He said he asked to have number 69, and the team told him he couldn't have it.
To be fair, respect has gone up.
Respect goes up. Well, no, it would have gone up if McLaren let him have it. But
yeah, true.
To be fair, it would have made him look a bit silly.
It would. It definitely would.
But then again, you got like Giovinazzi's using like 99.
Yeah, which is a bit, But it would have looked like what is it? Every person's my team.
Yeah.
Or my driver.
Well, no, every person's my team is the same font and the same style.
Yeah.
This isn't the Formula 1 game podcast. We'll have to do one of those actually close to the time.
We should.
So, I suppose
we'll bring it on to other.
The best thing to do now, we'll just sum up what's going on in other motorsports, and then we'll come back to F1 to do our predictions and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll start with the big one for all three of us, really, that all three of us kind of sharing, which is BTCC, which I advise Tom to get very much involved in this weekend because it's the best sport that's on this weekend. Best track as well. It's Thruxton. I'm meant to be there. I'm not because they shut it. So big cry.
Rent a helicopter and hover.
Yeah, well, Michael Prix isn't going to be racing, so I mean, like,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, is it? And the other team I would have voted for, well, less about why I won't be supporting the other team that I would have supported. It should be good because it's Thruxton, and Thruxton to me is one of the best tracks that they race on because it's just non-stop. It's like a 50-second lap.
Is Thruxton the one that is they have the really fast chicane at the end?
Yes. The last corner is
really high speed, yeah.
Because if you can find it from 2019, the Mini Cup, there was a massive crash between the two leaders in like the last lap.
Oh, was that where one afterwards got really, really annoyed?
He got out, slammed the door, and the window smashed.
There was one there. I think there was an interview with it. There was an interview where I was like, "Oh, what's the point of going? Like, what's the point of doing this?"
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Yeah,
it should be good times all round.
Is there any title contenders?
Well, it's the first race of the season.
Like that we think.
You'd be obliged to say Ash Sutton and Colin Turkington.
They're probably the
but
two.
Plato's back, isn't he?
Possibly Camish as well.
Oh, Camish has not actually got a seat.
He hasn't.
So Creasy got dropped or whatever's happened. He's not driving for BTC Racing. Dan Camish is covering for this one, but because he's doing Porsche Carrera Super Cup, which is a support race at the BTCC, he'll still be at the race weekends. But this weekend,
why was Camish dropped?
Yeah, because did he do well last season?
How Halford Duasa rebranded to being Cataclean.
Yeah, they merged with Dan Robotton.
Yeah, they brought Gordon Shedden back with Dan Robotton. I don't know. He came back and did a test last year and was really good.
Dan Camish is so clear of.
Dan Camish was clear of Matt Neal last year too, though.
Yeah. Dan Camish is the.
But I don't think Matt Neal got along with that car last year because I think Matt Neal still got it in.
Matt Neal doesn't get along with most things.
But he's a 3-time world champion, mate. You can't.
World champion.
Well, BTC. Well, if you're going to call the Patriots, New England Patriots, the world champions when they win the Super Bowl, then when you win the BTCC, you're a world champion.
Played sport. And American football is a world played sport.
Touring cars is a world race. You got DTM. Your point being.
Okay, yeah, however, still, we're not. The DTM is bigger than BTCC.
Time.
Sorry, what was that?
DTM is bigger than BTCC.
But you just said earlier that DTM was washed, and we're sat here talking about BTCC.
Washed,
but we're talking about BTCC right now. We're not talking about DTM, are we?
If we're not German.
Well,
for our German listeners out there,
touring car series
we do enjoy a bit of DTM.
Liam Lawson is clear of Alex Albon.
Yes, he is. Well done.
So I guess the main title contenders then, from what I take from
it, would be Turkington and Sutton.
Yeah,
in my opinion, will be the two will be between, because I don't know where Rowbottom or where Shedden will land with this coming back into the sport.
So are they still in a Honda? So
they're still in the Hondas, right? Yeah, but they haven't. We've also got the Cupras coming in. So Seat have come back to the sport.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not Seat.
It's Cupra rather, because they're a separate company now.
They are.
It used to be a Seat Cupra.
Yeah.
So Cupra are coming back, and they are,
Is it factory or?
No, they're with Team Hard. So Nick Hamilton's driving one of the Supras.
I see.
Which could.
And what's his face? Carl Boardley.
Yeah, and Carl Boardley, who was in he was the one who was fighting with Michael Crees until the last round for the Jack Sears Trophy.
The awful gold car. I didn't like that. Something like Rocket League, but
the Rocket League car.
Yeah, he's in the. It's not Hyundai.
Oh, they got Hyundai as well.
Yeah, there's loads of teams. There's loads, not teams, but like car
manufacturers. Yeah.
He's moved to Infinity with Team Hard.
Right,
but with Aidan Moffat's team.
I see. But yeah, so I mean, it's always interesting, the BTCC, especially with all of the support categories as well. I'm not really sure if there's many interesting things there. I don't really know who's going to be in what, whether there's any big names in those sort of support categories.
Not really. It's good racing.
Yeah, the support categories are elite.
Yeah.
I think Tom Lebon's probably going to be there and thereabouts again this year, because he came in.
Is that Ginettas?
He came into his rookie year in Ginettas and won.
Oh really? Oh wow.
So I think he's a name for the future.
Yeah.
The Ginettas are always great racing. The timings are really annoying, because the race timings, there's one at like 11:30 in the morning. There's one 35 minutes after the F1 starts, which will be right around the pit stop window, so we're around the exciting bit of the F1.
Yeah.
And then there's one at 5:20 in the evening. So the BTCC, and then you've got all the support races in between.
Yeah.
But luckily you've got the likes of Steve Ryder and Paul O'Neill, so like there's just constant banter. So you're always entertained when you watch BTCC.
True.
I'll only be able to watch race 3, I think.
Yeah, I'll probably watch race 1, race 3. But I guess if we've got nothing else to say, we can bring it on to what do we want to talk about FE next, maybe. They're going to be racing in Monaco, but this time it's going to be on the full layout, which is a lot better, because I don't really think it worked with the layout that they had before, because they kind of...
It's too bumpy.
Yeah, because they had turn 1 and then they almost did like a shortcut to the exit of the hairpin, yeah.
The chicane, sorry.
Yeah, I can't think of what the chicane's called.
Harbour,
there we go. I don't know how I forgot that. But yeah, so it should be good to see whether the Mercedes can keep ahead in the championship. As always with Formula E, there's no real team that looks particularly strong. No one really knows, to be honest.
no Van Dorn bit in front.
Yeah. Is it a double header? Because the last few races they've had double headers.
No, it is a single one.
Is it just one?
Yeah.
Because they should. I feel like they probably should be doing a double header. Considering it's Monaco, it would have been cool to see 2 races. Because when you think that, although Monaco, when we talk about it in an F1 environment, it's like, oh, boring race, but it's probably actually more of one of FE's more exciting tracks.
The Formula E,
yeah,
Monaco E-Prix is going to be so far clear of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Like the levels shown will be immense, and when I'm rating Formula E over Formula 1, it's bad.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for Formula E. No one really knows who's quick, who's not. So we'll have to wait and see. What I would say is that the Neos have I've been really surprised with them this season. They've been able to come up quite a bit.
The 3rd blue and green car.
Yes, yeah, as if there weren't enough already. But let's talk a little bit about F3 as well, because first time we're seeing them this weekend. They're going to be in a support race in Spain with the F1. We've actually, the time that we're recording this, qualifying has happened. So it's Dennis Hauger on pole.
Oh yeah, this is F3, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I'm not sure who was second and who was third. I think Doohan was possibly second or third. I can't remember. But Doohan's really cool because I think he was in the British F4, so it's been quite cool to see him rise up through the ranks. Cause I think he might have done like F3 Asia or something like that. So he's sort of slowly been working his way up the categories. Any sort of title contenders for F3?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
This season?
I wouldn't know until after the first race.
Oscar Piastri.
I mean,
yeah, nice.
You've got Arthur Leclerc.
Yes,
he might be a good shout.
He qualified behind Correa.
No, is he?
No.
Oh yeah, of course, because Correa's in. Yeah. Is Correa in F3?
And that wasn't a hot take.
There's who else? There's Ollie Colbell. He looks pretty good for the Prema. Obviously, I think Prema, as they normally do, have the strongest lineup with Hauger, Leclerc, and Coldwell. There was Schumacher that stayed in last season, but I mean he didn't really do much. Vesti actually could be a really big championship contender because I think he was up there last year. Possibly Iwasa as well. I'm trying to look, see if there's any other notable names. Not really, no. So I think it's probably going to be Logan Sargent as well. I think he could be a championship contender. But yeah, so I guess if we don't have anything else to talk about, we can bring it on to the predictions.
Yes. Has anyone noted the predictions?
I believe that's an Ed job, isn't it?
No, you noted them down.
I've got two.
And Tom has his own.
I should have my screenshot somewhere. I think I've got it in notes.
and I'll get up the results
Yeah.
and make that easier.
I was trying to find this crash from Thruxton. Not like it wasn't like a vicious crash.
No.
It was just at the last corner. But I mean, I can't remember what year it's from, and I can't find it.
So I guess, are we going to start with... who are we going to start with?
Well, Ed's got to go find the race results.
Shall I do mine
I'm pretty
first?
much there. Yeah, I'm there.
You there? Okay.
And we usually start with me, so
Yeah,
Torin,
let's do it.
tell me what I said.
What did Ed say?
I already know.
Portugal
I got pole
prediction.
wrong.
Ed said Max on pole.
Wrong.
He said it would be Max Lewis. Oh, did he? Did he say Max Lewis, Ricardo, Perez?
I think I did.
That's mental.
I got Perez
Max
right.
Lewis, Ricardo, Perez, Bottas, Norris. First DNF Mazepin, and your prediction was someone would be upside down at turn 1.
So I only got 1 point for Perez there,
Yeah.
which is a bit painful.
And all you did was chat absolute shit about Sergio Perez the whole race.
No, I didn't. It wasn't a bad race for him. He just got left out.
To be fair, he didn't do that bad.
He didn't do badly. He didn't
No.
deserve driver of the day.
No, it was brilliant.
No,
of course
he
was.
definitely
well,
wasn't.
We've totally forgot to mention that F1 is a bit.
I think we did mention.
I think we did in the last one, didn't we?
We did mention
Talked
it.
about Mazepin.
Right, yeah.
Oh, of course we did. 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But anyway, apparently Mazepin got robbed. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. Seems kind of sus.
Yeah, a little bit sus. But
Right, what did you say, Torin?
So I said Hamilton on pole,
Wrong.
and I said Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Bottas, Norris, Ricardo.
You get 1 point for Norris.
I said that's funny actually because Ed got a point for Perez and I got a point for Norris.
I think it's going to be a 1 pointer for me as well.
And I said Verstappen first DNF.
I said Verstappen first, yeah, for Verstappen win.
No, Vettel first DNF.
Okay.
Oh.
And my prediction was that Alfa Romeo would score their first point.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
To be fair, Gio was 12. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They've been knocking on the door this year. So I
Sure.
went for a pole for Verstappen, which obviously not right. And then I went for a win Verstappen, again not right. Second Hamilton, third Bottas, fourth Norris, fifth Perez, and sixth Ricardo.
You get 1 point.
So I get
for
it's all a 1
this
pointers.
Bottas.
I had first DNF as Ocon, which no. And then crazy prediction, double Aston Martin knockout in Q1, which I got one right, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were close to that one actually.
Yeah.
Vettel got Q3,
Because
didn't he?
Stroll got knocked down Q1. I was
Yeah.
so used to being Vettel, but yeah.
yeah. So Stroll got knocked out, but obviously Vettel did quite well, so that didn't apply. So I think we all got we all got 1 point for that. So a bit of a not
I
our
can't
best
remember the exact
weekend.
standings, but I'm still in
No.
the lead.
I think you'll probably
I
still be
think
in
I
the
was
lead.
like 2 points clear
Yeah.
from Tom, and then Torin last because he had the stinker last week.
Yeah, I had an absolute shocker at
I think we've all.
Imola.
I think to be fair, we all had an absolute shocker this.
Yeah, it has been.
Oh yeah, we've got to make predictions now, haven't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got to actually
oh
predict
no.
things.
Yeah.
This horrible bit. I just closed the app for God's sake.
Nice one.
Well in.
Stinker.
Have a think.
All right.
Shall I do mine first?
No, we'll keep it in the right order. I've got it up.
You got it? Okay.
Just have the list of drivers. So I'm gonna go pole. I'm gonna say Bottas
All right.
because he's on a bit of form right now. Shockingly,
Qualifying.
Qualifying for.
qualifying form, yeah, not race form. He doesn't have race form. So I'm gonna go win Hamilton, second place Verstappen, third place Bottas. I'm gonna keep it, fourth Norris, fifth Ricardo, sixth Perez. But no.
Putting Ricardo in there.
I'll go fifth Perez, sixth Ricardo, and first DNF Mazepin.
Ooh,
It's not spicy, really, is it?
not really.
And crazy prediction: someone's going to try and take the hairpin route
Ready?
in the race. Someone's gonna.
I think I've already got my crazy prediction in my head.
Yeah, I've tried to make it distinct quickly, so
Yeah.
we're not really gonna get it.
No.
It's only 2 points if you do. So, yeah. What do you think, Torin?
So, I've gone with pole for Lewis Hamilton. I've gone with a win for Max Verstappen because it's his 100th start in Red Bull, and these things just always happen in F1. Like things like this,
True.
always, like, for
Good
whatever
point, good
reason,
point.
these crazy stats always happen. Bottas third, Perez fourth, Leclerc fifth, and Norris sixth. I've gone with Carlos Sainz as my first DNF because again I feel like poetic.
Yeah.
His
Spanish
first
Grand
Spanish
Prix.
Grand Prix with Ferrari.
Yeah.
it feels like that'll happen. My prediction is a 2016 remake, but not like a team. There'll just be a crash at that corner in the same style.
I was going to say the same thing.
I reckon you're allowed the same prediction.
Yeah, do it. Because like no one's ever going to get the first prediction right.
I've got a good idea for mine. I thought of another one. So carry on.
No one's ever going to get the prediction right. But essentially what I mean is someone's going to try and overtake someone at that corner and they're both going to crash.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be Mercedes.
I think... No, it doesn't have to be teammates either. I genuinely think it could be someone trying to lap Mazepin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Someone's going to crash at that corner, whichever number it is.
Yeah. So it's good. We're going to replicate the 2016 incident.
4.
Yeah.
4, 5, whichever one.
Those.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go for me next. I'm going to say pole Hamilton. I'm also going to say win Hamilton. Verstappen second, Bottas third. I think it's just going to stay the same with that. I just think it's going to be a bit boring up front. I'm going to go fourth. I feel like I'm going to have to go Perez, just because like this weekend should be with very little mistakes for most drivers. I think it will be quite representative. I'm going to go fifth as Norris, and then I'm going to go sixth as Leclerc, because I think those two, Norris and Leclerc, are just currently the best drivers in the midfield, and they're doing the business in the best cars. I'm going to go first DNF of... I don't know. I'm going to say first DNF of... We'll go for Stroll, because why not? And then my crazy prediction, and you guys can say whether this is crazy or not, I'm going to go for someone is going to recreate the move that Vettel did.
Oh, what, going onto the grass into T1?
Doing it doesn't have to.
Okay, no, he doesn't have to do the fake because that was different. But you mean going onto the grass?
Going onto the grass, yeah.
Into T1.
Yeah. So I think someone's going to recreate.
And are we allowing him to go?
I think
either to the left or the right, or does it have to be down the right?
I'd say it has to be down the right.
The outside is Astro, so
yeah, and it's a more difficult line because if you went around the outside, you've actually have the ultimate line into Team 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it has to be a squeeze.
So it has to be the same as Vettel, but it doesn't have to include the fake.
No, it doesn't. And it
because I don't think many of the drivers on the grid could.
Doesn't have to be same drivers. Doesn't have to be same team.
No, of course not. Because I don't think Vettel's going to do that on Bottas this season.
No.
So, well, I mean it's Bottas, but I mean
he could do.
Yeah,
could do. But yeah, a couple of things left, which is our drivers to look out for and teams to look out for.
I guess my driver to look out for would probably be Leclerc. I think he's got a point to prove against his Spanish teammate, and Drive to Survive would love it. My team to look out for is probably AlphaTauri. I think double points finish for them would be likely this weekend. Maybe even separating the McLarens.
Possibly.
I mean, Gasly.
If Gasly has a good weekend, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Gasly could get like a P7, Ricciardo P8.
Yeah,
makes sense to me. That's my teams and driver to look out for.
I think I'm gonna go similar. I think driver I will have to probably pick. I want to say maybe Norris, or possibly even Alonso. I think I might go for Alonso. Just because he finally showed us what he can do last weekend.
And why he should be in F1, yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be a really good driver to look out for. I think team to look out for, I think I'm going to maybe say Aston Martin. I think I might have done the same thing last weekend.
Alpine looked at third pace this morning.
Yeah.
And this afternoon, rather.
I think
I actually... Fifth in FP3.
Yeah, I think I might change it to McLaren. Because I think on a really representative track with the upgrade that they've got and the diffuser. And
this is your team to look out for. So this is both drivers.
This team, yeah, both drivers. I think it would be interesting to see, and also whether Norris can keep putting in consistent performances.
So you think Ricciardo will break his Spain?
I'm just thinking. I'm just saying. I think it will be interesting. I
think they'll be a good team to watch. I think they could get both cars in the top 5.
Possibly, yeah. Especially if something happens up front, they'll be first ones to pounce on it. Ed, did you have a driver and team to look out for?
I think my drive to look out for would be Mazepin, to look out for him and avoid him at all costs. I'm gonna go. I'll just be basic. I'll probably go just like Bottas. He's on a comeback from some bad form.
Good quality.
He got pole last week. He'll probably get pole this week.
Yeah, maybe.
And
it's
Mercedes will probably bottle his strategy to get Hamilton the win, which is fair.
Yeah.
Teams look out for. It's Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really had a solid weekend.
They've had a bit of a stinker this season. They got lucky with Vettel into Q3.
Yeah. It's
And
been weird, hasn't it?
I think if they can at least both get into Q2 with 1 and Q3, they've had a good weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
probably
both
Stroll.
drivers in Q2 is about average for them, I reckon. But yeah, if you guys don't know if you have anything else to say, I guess we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Enjoy the weekend of motorsport.
It's a packed weekend.
It is
absolutely stacked.
As it is most weekends now, really.
Yeah, we are quite fortunate now, especially with IndyCar being
Yeah.
quite popular over here now as well.
Yeah.
No
And
IndyCar this
MotoGP.
weekend, so I won't be getting you guys making awful puns about drivers' names.
No, we won't be spamming the group chat at 12 o'clock.
I mean, we're usually playing Rocket League at that time.
Yeah,
but
so it doesn't really make a difference.
I've just outed us there.
Yeah.
Rocket League's a fair game.
Anyway, thank you for listening to the Formula WINOL podcast, and we'll see you next week.